Welcome to C&K Sports. I'm your host Cole, joined by my co-host.
I'm Connor, guys. Nice to meet you.
And today we are going to be talking about NBA trades, free agency, maybe a little draft. One of the most exciting times of year for all NBA fans. And Connor, what do you have for us to start off with?
I want to talk about an important trade first. Jrue Holiday was sent over to Milwaukee in exchange for Eric Bledsoe, George Hill, and 3 first-round picks out of Milwaukee. And I thought it was an interesting trade because Jrue Holiday does go to Milwaukee and pairs him with another superstar in Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton. So I think it will be a great pick for Milwaukee and maybe push them over the edge and getting that first championship in a while.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely a good two-way player, a point guard, maybe some shooting too to relieve, Giannis from that, take some pressure off of him. The second trade was CP3 to Phoenix. That was a major trade, Yeah, CP3 went crazy last year, balled out.
Carried that Thunder.
Yeah, exactly. Took him to the playoffs, first round. Really good. He's going to Phoenix now, paired with Devin Booker. Oklahoma City gets some more first-round picks. Kelly Oubre Jr. at first, Ricky Rubio, Ty Jerome. But Oubre left. Where'd he go to?
He got traded to Golden State for a 2021 first and second round pick. I thought that was a great pickup for Golden State, mainly because Klay Thompson did tear his Achilles like a few weeks ago actually. And they had that trade exception from that injury too, so they can use that. They used all that money, got Kelly Oubre to plug him in at the 3 and move Andrew Wiggins up to the 2 to pair him with Steph. So I think it's a great alternative that was available to them at the time. But I think it will help them make that push. I don't know if they'll win the championship this year because of Klay Thompson being out, and him and Steph Curry are probably the best shooting backcourt in NBA history. But this will be an interesting squad in a packed West. But
yeah, they'll be exciting.
But going back to the CP3 trade, I think that's a great pickup for Phoenix, mainly because CP3 is more of a mentor right now. He's like 35 on a $40 million contract. And he will mentor Devin Booker, who's only 23 right now, to everything. I think it will be a great fit for DeAndre Ayton as well.
Yeah,
because it will get that Lob City mentality back with CP3 and Blake Griffin, or CP3 to DeAndre Jordan, which is what they were missing, I think. So it'll help them get into the West, considering they were only a game out of the playoffs last year before Portland went on a crazy tear, and mainly Damian Lillard. But
yeah, no, I think you hit the nail right on the hammer, because I think CP3, he always elevates the big man. Tyson Chandler, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, David West. Yeah. They all have like some of their best career years with Chris Paul. So hopefully you see DeAndre Ayton take that step forward, and then Devin Booker,
See, I think Phoenix is a young team because Ayton's only 22, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Booker's 23. Those are 2 young players in their core. And then you have CP3, who knows how to carry a team. He's a leader, captain at heart. He carried OKC into that playoffs with his mindset and his mentality. Like Dennis Schroeder balled, Gallinari balled in the playoffs against Houston.
Yeah.
Just a perfect fit for Phoenix and potentially moving them into the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I think so, definitely. So moving on to probably the biggest trade of the offseason. It's been a little quiet, but this one was like a major splash the other day. It was Westbrook traded from Houston. He wanted out. He said for a few weeks that, he wasn't happy with the mentality of the team. Trade him to John Wall for a first-round pick. So very interesting trade. What are your thoughts?
So my thoughts, Russell Westbrook is probably a top 3-point guard in the league right now, behind a healthy Steph Curry and possibly a healthy Kyrie Irving, in my opinion. I think going to Washington, because he wasn't a good fit in Houston, because James Harden is another ball-dominant player, basically like Russell Westbrook. But Russell Westbrook will be a perfect fit for Washington because Bradley Beal isn't that ball-dominant, needs the ball to dribble, go for the game winner, all that in his hands. It will allow Bradley Beal to get more open on the floor. Russell Westbrook will be driving, kicking it out. Bradley Beal is going to drop, I think, 25 points a game at least next season, 25 to 30. It's a great fit for Washington. I think it's a more athletic guard considering where John Wall is right now in terms of his health. Hasn't played a lot in the last few years. So looking forward to seeing that group. and their nice pickups they've had through the draft as well.
That's true. I disagree, though.
What?
I think Houston probably won the trade.
That's cap.
I think the big thing is that Russell Westbrook, he wanted out, and it didn't work with James Harden. The experiment they tried, it didn't work, and they had to trade him. And if you looked over the last few weeks, basically no one wanted him. There was no really suitors for Russell Westbrook. No teams were really offering anything too good. The Knicks and the Hornets were offering some stuff, but nothing like that's worth the return,
Okay.
So at least in this case, you get John Wall. He is coming off an injury. He hasn't played in almost 2 years, but at least you get an all-star caliber player when he's healthy. Now, that is, a big question mark because he did tear his Achilles. That's a major injury.
Yeah.
Part of his game is how explosive he is, so it's probably not going to be the same, but if you've seen, he's been working out in the gym, been working out with Kevin Durant. He worked out with James Harden. Yeah. They both said he looked good. James Harden said he wanted to play with him. I think it's not, the most optimal trade, but, in the world we live in and what was offered, probably the best thing, James Harden, John Wall, they got Boogie there now, maybe a good fit. They were college teammates, so.
Kentucky duo once again.
Yeah, so. I don't know. I think maybe it's a good fit.
I don't know. They're also gambling on the fact that Boogie and John Wall are both around 30, like 30, I believe. Both of them are Kentucky teammates. Both coming off injuries, too. So you're banking on that all-star caliber talent they have, all NBA talent that John Wall had with his explosiveness and what Boogie had with just bullying people underneath in Sacramento and in New Orleans before he got hurt there, too. So
I think you're right. I think the gamble, though, is worth it considering, if you made a different trade with New York or Charlotte, you're just getting back some mediocre young pieces. At least here, John Wall has proven himself in the past.
He has.
But he's going to have to reprove himself to some extent. But I still think he has it in him.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, Russell Westbrook is a more explosive guard. He's averaged a triple-double over the last couple seasons and won an MVP. He's only 2 years out of an MVP. He's been traded twice. I don't know why. But he is a perfect fit for Washington, perfect fit for Bradley Beal to explode and just pop off as a catch-and-shoot player. And I think it'll just leave more space open for him as well as all their young talent that's in that system right now. Push him into a weak East.
That's fair.
Maybe as a 7 seed, in my opinion, considering, Brooklyn's going to be healthy, Toronto's still there. So it'll be interesting to see how they play this year, considering all their young talent, see if all that developed over the offseason and the rookies that they got this year. So
yeah, I think that's very fair. I think Washington, it was a good trade for them too. They definitely upgraded. Russell Westbrook's better than John Wall, but
this point at least.
Yeah. But at least you get a decent player back. Someone that can prove themselves. Maybe the fit with James Harden's a little bit better. I know they're both ball dominant, but you never know. Chris Paul and him made it work, so we'll see.
Chris Paul did get traded.
No, that's true. That's true. But they did make it to the Western Conference Finals.
And they almost beat the Warriors. But they lost, though.
Yeah, so we never know. I think it's a good fit.
Will Houston win this year? Not a chance.
No shot.
Not a chance. There's a lot of unknowns in that thing. In the East, will Washington win this year?
No.
Probably not, considering there's a lot of actual good teams in the East that have more talent on their rosters. But Washington could be a sneaky upset in the first round if they play one of those top teams like Milwaukee or Brooklyn. I think they could upset Miami, in my opinion, if Miami ends up in the top. So
potentially, yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how they play with Russell Westbrook dominating that point guard position and Bradley Beal playing as a catch-and-shoot player now.
Yeah, I think both teams are probably sneaky upset teams first round.
I think so, too.
Because I think the Rockets will probably be a 6, 7, 8 seed, around there. And I don't think you really want to play James Harden in the first round. He's going to be scoring 35 potentially on some games. So, and if John Wall, Boogie playing decent,
but that's a big if they're playing decent. Because if they're not playing decent, other teams can just double James Harden and that won't matter.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because Boogie, they can single cover Boogie and John Wall, and you just leave it to who?
They got PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon.
Tucker.
Eric Gordon scored 20-something in a few playoff games.
He's inconsistent, though. That's the thing.
100%.
He's been inconsistent throughout the last season. He hasn't been healthy. He hasn't been performing at his level he was performing when he was in New Orleans.
Yeah,
playing alongside AD. So.
But John Wall, you'll give him a whole season basically to get right and integrated into the system, get him back. I think there's good hope there. if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know, the Russell Westbrook experiment didn't work either. So
not at all.
That's a tough one, but
it's going to be interesting this year.
Yeah, to say the least.
Especially with COVID going on, I think it'll be interesting to see how all these teams actually have that chemistry.
Yeah.
Considering all the players that have been moved through trades in particular.
Yeah.
So, but I want to go over the free agent. Gordon Hayward signing a 4-year, $120 million deal with Charlotte. Trash deal. I'm telling you. Trash deal. Like, this dude is 30. He's 31 maybe, actually? 31.
Sure, but he's
coming off, he's washed, in my opinion, coming off that nasty ankle injury a couple years ago.
That was devastating.
He looked pretty bad in the playoffs, and he sprained his ankle in Orlando in the bubble. And Charlotte giving him $30 million a year to go play alongside LaMelo Ball. I mean, I like Michael Jordan, but I don't know what decision this man is making, giving him $120 million for 4 years on the plus side of 30.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I think the contract's bad, but maybe the fit's good. I mean, LaMelo, number 3 pick. Like, you got to pair him with something, you know, make him.
Yeah, but there's definitely a lot of other players he could have paired him with. Like, they could have gotten Russell Westbrook, in my opinion. It would have been tough to get him, but I think it could have been a nice pairing there.
That would be, but I don't know what they would have given up that the Rockets would have taken.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that there was a lot of other free agents they could have signed, like Montrezl Harrell. I think they could have signed him to play alongside LaMelo and start him. A bunch of other players they could have signed. I think that would have been a better fit for that, not Gordon Hayward. But we'll never know. We'll find out.
I mean, Gordon Hayward could be a good spot-up shooter, you know.
He can, but he can't run the floor anymore because of that injury and the high ankle sprain he had in the bubble. It's just been bad for him.
That's true.
Just in the last couple of years alone. So
definitely a risky signing. Probably one they might regret. But if, you know, he could average 20 alongside Melo.
He could. There's not really much talent out there. I mean, they did the Nick Batum signing they got a few years ago. That was a terrible signing for them. They just dumped all that contract, said goodbye that money. Now comes Gordon Hayward, a similar player, similar age. So it's going to be interesting to see if that contract's a dud.
Yeah.
I think it will be, though. So
we'll just have to wait and see. I guess this will wrap up our first episode of the C&K Sports Show.
Thank you.
Again, I'm Cole. This is Connor, and we'll see you guys next episode.